This time we've got two of the best new-gen electric vans. They're big, they're clever, but can they go the distance?
74% of a battery charge.
I'll write these down so I don't forget.
And which one do we like best?
Somebody's properly thought this through.
Yeah.
I love it.
VW's ID.5. On paper, it's the SUV you want, but we don't live on paper, so is it any good?
Does it feel like a 50-odd thousand pound car?
No.
And can Tesla's first EV match the pace and poise of the petrol Lotus Elise, the car on which it was developed from?
These are just epic.
This is fifth gear.
What with the difference?
They'll still be screaming.
And squealing.
Could you just slow down? And shouting.
Stupid idea. I can't listen to this nonsense.
But there'll also be this.
The EV revolution is here.
But are electric vehicles right for you?
What are the costs, choices and challenges?
And how do they stack up against their petrol-powered rivals?
We're here to tell you everything you need to know about the new automotive landscape.
This is the future of driving.
This is fifth gear recharged.
Last year, the fifth gear Mario brothers, Jason and Jimmy,
I like your hat. In fact, I like your khaki colour.
It's nice, isn't it?
tried out two fully electric vans, and they weren't impressed because you couldn't even get 100 miles between charges.
The range is 82 miles.
82 miles. That isn't great, is it?
In fact, that figure halved once they loaded up some washing machines.
Well, we've lost a mile already.
Pretty quickly to the 2. It's just gone again.
But now a new breed of EV van is emerging that claims to go further between recharges. We've grabbed the two leading contenders to find out if they're a step forward should you want to lug some light goods around.
This is the Fiat e-Ducato. Now, the Ducato name has been around for over 40 years, and the manufacturer says that this is the best-selling van in Europe, with 150,000 sales per year.
Yeah, but let's be honest. If you're going to buy a van, you want one with a transit badge on it. It's been around since 1965, and they've built over 8.5 million of these. Come on, it's a no-brainer.
But is it going to be as good now it's called the e-Transit? Fiat first?
Why not?
We'll be doing 3 tests today. The first will discover what the vans are like to live with.
Ergonomically, immediately, I have brushed myself against the handbrake, which is quite protruding down there.
So a couple of bits I've spotted straight away.
Yeah.
That there, that's got to be the Italian espresso holder, isn't it? Because your latte is definitely not going to stay in there.
No, I agree with that.
And then the other thing was, like, what's going on here?
What is that doing?
And then you've got that thing in the corner with a wire, like a visible wire coming out the bag. It's like they've just drilled a hole in to stick that panel in for the EV info.
First impressions are that it lacks a little polish and practicality.
Right, let's get my big van head on.
But perhaps things will improve on the road. To assess the range of our electric vans, we drove them the same 7-mile route around Milton Keynes, the kind of urban multi-drop environment that these vehicles have been designed for.
Crucially, because of the roundabouts and the number of traffic lights, your leaden foot will be vaguely kept under control.
We'll take a note of the battery level at the start of our journey.
74% of a battery charge.
I'll write these down so I don't forget.
And then we'll see what it's dropped to by the end and calculate the real-world range, at least our version of it.
We are in eco mode, regen.
On.
Everything's on.
White van man and woman, please note, eco mode limits the e-Ducato to 50 miles an hour top speed, and 0 to 30 takes 6 seconds, so more tortoise than hare.
So we have 2 trim levels available in this van, an entry level and then this, which is the e-Technico. And for that, you get Apple CarPlay and Auto Android. You get a sat-nav.
Oh.
And a leather steering wheel. But to be honest with you, this just feels really plasticky.
It's probably
unusual cow, that's for sure. So I don't feel that I'm being cosseted.
No.
Mind you, you would expect a bit of luxury when you consider this van costs £70,000, and that includes a £5,000 government grant.
All right, Vix, we're coming back to our start point. We've done just about 7 miles.
Yep.
So, what is your percentage?
My percentage is 68%.
Right, so you have used up 6% of your battery.
Okay.
Based on our drive, it means the van should be good for 116 miles between charges, which ties in with Fiat's own figures. They estimate the e-Ducato's 47 kilowatt battery will deliver a range between 102 and 139 miles. Things have certainly moved on since the Mario brothers first tested e-vans. How does the e-Transit compare? The Transit is a legend in the world of vans, with almost 1 million currently on British roads. Can this Transit carry on that weighty reputation? The e-Transit's cheaper than the Fiat, but only by £5,000.
Now, I've got 98% as we set off on our journey, and this tells me I could do 156 miles.
Ford say the Transit should be good for between 166 and 196 miles. Hopefully the van's computer will take a more optimistic view as our trip around Milton Keynes continues. Vicky seems more excited about the van than its range though.
Corinne, I need to show you so much about this thing. You have got loads of storage space up here.
Magazines?
Magazines, clipboards.
Oh, clipboard for delivery people,
Yeah.
clipboards. And actually the door pockets are easier to reach, isn't it?
Okay.
Now, one thing that is hugely different between this and the Fiat is that the Ford has got 261 horsepower. Now, that's more than double what the Fiat's got.
Yeah.
And it's got more torque at 430 Newton meters compared to the Ducato's 280.
And so this is more powerful, it's got more torque, but it's cheaper.
And it's cheaper. It's £5,000 cheaper than the Fiat.
On top of that, it's only £7,000 more than the equivalent diesel.
The fact that battery technology is still expensive, the reality is, 7,000 is not a lot more.
And there's more good stuff.
I love the fact that they've basically nicked the 12-inch screen from the Ford Mac.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And you can get over-the-air updates on it. You can work out when you plug in, where's available.
And the screen lets you access 3 drive modes.
You got the normal, you got eco, and then you've got a wet mode, actually. It's
Slippery.
Yeah.
I love it.
Which basically is for people who aren't used to EVs and that instant acceleration,
And
it just manages the torque.
Somebody's properly thought this through. This is it, we're done. Done and dusted.
So, I've used just 3% of my battery to do a 7-mile drive,
Yep.
which on paper you go, well, that's only half the number of percentage that you have. However, this does have a bigger battery. It's got a 68 kilowatt hour battery.
Based on our little test, the Transit could cover up to 200 miles between recharges, around twice what the e-Ducato could do. Although you could argue it's got a bigger battery, it's also a cheaper van. So that's not cheating. It's time for a verdict on our test 1, which is how good the vans are to live with. You've probably guessed our victor.
Thanks for breakfast. I don't actually eat bacon, so you can have both of them.
Yes. Result.
So,
Up front, I found that the Ford was more comfortable and more special.
well, yeah. I mean, it just felt like they'd made an effort. The touchscreen was really good. The cubby holes were easily reachable. And, you know, the fact that the range is going to be pushing 200 miles, that's pretty good.
So the winner for this one then is the Ford e-Transit.
I think the winner is you with your double bacon roll.
Bacon butties aside, there's more to play for in this challenge. Join us later when we turn our attentions to the rear of the vans.
I mean, feel free to give them a hand, Corinne.
I'm not qualified. I haven't got gloves.
Let's see which one is actually better at carrying stuff.
Now it's time to get a first look and a first drive of a brand new car. Yes, it's the 5th Gear Recharge team test. So this week, the team tested the new Volkswagen ID.5. The ID.5 is VW's big brother to the popular ID.3 and 4. It's a 5-seater SUV starting at £49,000, but ours is the max spec, which is £7,000 more. VW is really gunning for that prized Tesla territory, and the ID.5 has a claimed range of 313 miles. Should you choose this car over a Model Y?
What comes after 3 and 4?
5.
No, that's what it is. It's the VW ID.5, their EV. It's a bit like a 4 to here, really.
A bit?
And then
it's exactly the
It's
same.
exactly the same.
Up to here, it's absolutely identical to the
Yeah.
4. And then it's got one of these slopey back coupe style.
Yeah.
What do we think? Do we like it?
Well, this is their electric SUV, and I don't think it is the most stylish thing I have ever seen. I just think it's clunky.
That's quite strong.
Wow, that is strong.
These doors, they're so deep, they're so high. I mean, that's almost sort of chest height for me. That's big, and
what
it's
you're
not
thinking
like a...
from inside, it might be a bit claustrophobic.
Speaking of doors, though, I quite like these flush door handles. I know it's not much, but it's kind of cool, don't
You're
you think?
right, it's not much, Sid.
He's easily pleased his
No,
boy,
but
isn't
look
he?
at it. But look at the door handles. It's cool, isn't it?
I was never a fan of the ID.4, it's too boxy, but I do actually prefer the back end of the ID.5. I like that swoopingness, it looks a bit more sporty-like.
Show us your
sporty
rear.
at the back.
Let's have a look. Do you know what? I don't think any of us particularly like the looks of the car. Now, this is a bit weird.
This is good. They've
is
got a
quite cool.
nice,
They've got a little
got
net
a nice
there.
net thing.
What's that for?
Well, you can put stuff under it, and it's got a zip. You could put Jason in it. Imagine
So
that.
it's just for stuff?
Yeah, just
Yeah, for
extra
your milk.
bits and stuff.
Yeah, stuff that moves
For your
around.
milk?
Get in the car.
All right.
Get in the car. All right. Come on, we've got driving to do.
Who ordered the brown?
No.
I like it.
I love brown when it's done nicely. This, just a little strip there, strip there.
Do you not like that?
There's too much going on. Yeah.
No, I'm all
See,
for
this,
it.
this is funny. This is interesting, because I don't find that offensive at all. Now, see, the interior, it's got this brown and black two-tone. I didn't find that bad, actually. I quite liked it in a way, but the girls hated it, which I don't understand. Because for me, that was probably one of the nicest things about the car.
Me and Jason were team brown interior, two-tone.
Can we have some aircon on, darling?
Yes.
Because it's jolly hot.
It is, isn't it?
Well, that comes to a problem when you put the aircon on because there are no knobs. This has the same sort of style like all the new VWs have, like the Golf
touchy
ID3. And the biggest pain is the fact that, you know, that panel doesn't illuminate at night for the temperature control, so you literally, it's a major distraction.
What, this one here?
Yeah, so you're driving around and you want a bit more volume and you're like, what am I pressing,
Yeah.
what am I sliding?
Big sunroof, that's nice.
Yeah.
Can you close the blind halfway?
I don't know how to do it.
It's up there.
It's a
It's
slidey,
touch as well, by
slidey.
the way. You got to stroke it.
That's
There you
touch
go.
too.
Are you
But
ready?
don't go too far because
I'm going to tell you to stop. Oh, stop, I'm done. Oh. In the back, I'm doing okay, but
Yeah,
I'm
I'm good.
5'5.5".
Yeah, I'm over 6 foot. I've got headroom. My head's
Are
not
you
touching.
really over 6 foot?
I am.
Because
I am
I'm
over 6
I'm
foot.
6 foot exactly.
No, I'm taller than you.
That's only because you wear heels.
No,
Anyway,
it's got
moving
nothing
on.
to do with
Moving
that.
on. Ready?
Ready?
I'm
Yeah.
ready.
Go.
Here we go. Wee. How does it feel behind the wheel?
It's okay. Steering's nice when in this sport mode. Got nice weight to it, but it's not quick. It wants to do everything for you. I want to tell it what to do.
Yeah.
I want to tell it what mode it wants. I want to turn the traction control off. I want to do me regen braking.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's too clever for its own
It's
good.
something that they've tried to make everything so simple,
Yeah.
but I think it's too simple now.
So although you haven't got buttons up front, you have got an improved voice recognition system. Do you want to try it out?
Here we go. I've got a button somewhere. Can you turn the air conditioning up to maximum and cool us down because we're roasting ID?
Okay. Supposedly it's on max now. It understood what you just said.
Oh my gosh.
Surprisingly.
Set air conditioning to warm me up.
Sorry.
Sorry, what? Now, by and large, I have an issue with voice control in cars because it just simply doesn't work. And, you know, VW have made a claim that this works better than the rest. Again, it simply doesn't.
We'd better edit this bit, just in case I use a bad word.
I'm hot.
We know you are, Plato.
Sorry, this is the minimum temperature.
Oh.
Well, guess what? It ain't cold enough.
Jason had a play around with the voice recognition. He's not the world's most patient man, and this tested his patience.
Shut up.
Everything inside the car doesn't have any buttons. I think the only buttons that exist on it is the window switches. That's it.
It would be great to find something decent to say. What about the range? Let's talk about the range.
We need some proper buttons or at least some illumination, particularly when you're driving at night.
Nearly 3 years down the line, you'd think that VW would go, do you know what? We need to put buttons back in this. And they haven't. And it's really frustrating. The system is not intuitive.
No, there's just moaning.
Well, do you know what? We can only review the car as delivered and as tested. And just remind me how much it is again. Remind me.
£55,000 for an ID5.
Is everybody tired, or is the ID5 making us grumpy? Let's get the team scores.
So the ID5 is a family car, and it does have good statistics for that. It has over 300 miles of range, and it does have features that support a family. And I do think Volkswagen's heart is in the right place.
Unfortunately, it's not a particularly good car. Okay, it's got a good claimed range, but to use every day, to live with, I think it would just drive you absolutely mad.
I have to say with a heavy heart that I'm not impressed with this. I am usually a VW fan. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for this car to sparkle. It doesn't.
I don't like the dashboard, I don't like the infotainment, I don't like the switch gear in there. I do like the gear selector knob on the top of the main dashboard. That's a nice touch. But all those other things are just annoying.
Oh, I was going to give it a 5 for an ID5, but I don't even think it deserves that, so I'm going to give it a 4.5. Have I done that the right way round? No.
VW, if you're listening, please, please, please put buttons back in the car, because that's the reason why it's getting a 3.
Overall, I'm going to give the ID5, which costs about £55,000, a 5.
So the ID5 is going to get a poor score. It's going to get a 4. Remember, that car's over 50 grand.
16.5 out of 40 is a pretty poor score. It certainly looks like VW can't make a great spec translate into a great car. Shame. Coming up, our EV van challenge continues.
That went in pretty easily.
That's gone in a treat, hasn't it? Welcome back to our EV van challenge, which pits Fiat's e-Ducato against Ford's e-Transit. We want to know if they're up to the job when it comes to a hard day's work. This just feels really plasticky.
It's probably
unusual cow, that's for sure.
And so far, both have delivered adequate range when driven over a stop-start route.
This is more powerful, it's got more torque, but it's cheaper.
It's cheaper. But the e-Transit was the clear winner because the cabin was a better place to be. And thanks to a better battery, it can travel around twice the distance on a single charge. And to rub salt into the Fiat's wounds, it's also £5,000 cheaper. But you don't just buy vans to feel happy, you buy them to carry stuff. For our second test, we're going to check how good our vans are at swallowing a large load.
And we have come to a DIY store because building materials come in all sorts of shapes and sizes.
Now, it's not just about volume, is it, Vix? It's about also seeing how easy it is to load up these vans.
Yep, and also about payload, the weight that they can carry. I will be keeping score.
Okay.
First of all, how many anchor points have you got?
Ooh. 1, 2, 3...
4, 5, 6, 7...
7, 8, 9. That's it. I've got 9. What have you got?
15.
What? I've got 9.
9? Not even double figures?
No.
Oh, oh dear. Oh.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good. Fine. 1 point to the Fiat. What's next?
Ease of loading.
Ooh.
Anyone who's loaded up a van or a car for that matter will know that the distance you have to lift the luggage off the ground makes a big difference to the effort involved.
Here, I'm going to get my measuring stick, and although you've got this sort of little lip to help you get in, when you get to the top, what's that? 170.
Yep. 162.
So
That
about
is...
almost 10 centimetres lower, which is better for loading.
Yeah, 2 points for Fiat. There's a lot of winning happening here so
Well,
far.
doing good so far. Let's get some stuff in here, see what we can fit. Whoa, it's manual labour. It's not my department. So we have the lovely Dave and Cara. They're currently bringing in a fence panel, 6 foot by 6 foot.
That went in pretty easily.
That's gone in a treat, hasn't it?
And I think these MDF
They're not. These are not MDF, darling. These are OSBs.
Oh, you are so educated in the DIY world.
Thank you. Anyway, they're 8 foot by 4 foot, and they are quite heavy. And they've gone in a treat as well.
Should we go look next door?
Thank you very much, team. Time to do the Ford.
Right, I'm slightly concerned that these guys are going to battle a bit more to get into this.
Oh yeah, I think they definitely will have a struggle.
As clearly illustrated here. So, it's actually rubbing against the roof already.
Yeah.
And you can't actually prop it up against the side like they could with the other one.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work. Yeah, just leave it there, guys. Just...
I mean, feel free to give them a hand, Karun.
I'm not qualified. I haven't got gloves.
Now, I'm not surprised that you are struggling because you aren't as big as the Fiat. The Fiat's got 13 cubic metres of space in here, and you have got
11, so that's going to have to go.
Karun almost got involved.
I touched it. I touched the thing. I touched the fence.
The Ford loading bay is 15 centimetres shorter and 10 centimetres narrower than the Fiat. There is a high roof version available on the Ford for around £1,000.
So I think we could pretty conclusively say another point for the Fiat.
Yes.
Should we get some big fat payloads in?
Yep, off you go.
Hey!
The Ford has already lost the load test. However, will it recover a bit of pride when it comes to dealing with weight?
Right, what we've got is a bag, which is just about a ton.
So the Ducato can have 1,060 kilograms of weight, and the lovely Sam is going to deposit 1,000 kilograms in there now. Oh, precision.
I mean, that is precision before he goes donk. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
See how much that moved?
Yeah.
Perhaps it's not surprising that the van groaned a bit, as our bag is only 60 kilos short of the maximum weight permitted. How will the Transit fare?
Right, let's check the suspension then as this drops down. I like seeing that because you can really see the impact that the weight has on the van. Brilliant.
So, the Fiat can take 1,060 kilograms and the Ford 980 kg. That is an 80 kilogram difference.
Right then, what's the conclusion?
Well, it's not looking great for the Transit.
In fact, it's lost all of its load-based tests. The suspension seemed to manage the bag of sand well, but the Ducato can handle more weight. So it's a clean sweep here for the Fiat.
So scores are 1-1.
Yeah.
Should we go on the road and see what they're like now we've got a bit of load in it?
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go.
Join us later when we discover whether the range and performance falls to the floor once we've got a bit of work to do, and which is the overall winner of our EV Vans Challenge.
Coming up, an intriguing sports car head-to-head, Lotus versus Tesla.
It's just brilliant. One track, 2 cars, and a stopwatch, which can only mean one thing. It's time for 5th gear recharged shootout.
This time we've got 2 pure sports cars going head-to-head. One is an iconic petrol-powered legend, the other an electric trailblazer. The Lotus Elise is one of the finest handling sports cars ever made, and it's been a huge success for Lotus. But sadly, production ended in 2021 after an astonishing 25-year run. This one is named after Lotus's famous F1 driver. It's the 2009 Jim Clark Special Limited Edition with a supercharged 1.8-litre petrol engine making 224 horsepower. But that may not sound like much these days, but remember, this car weighs less than a ton, which is why the flyweight Lotus can get to 60 in just 4.5 seconds.
Now, pitched against the Elise is the Tesla Roadster. Now, this was launched in 2008, and it was Tesla's first venture into electric cars. Now, you might think it looks a wee bit like the Elise. Well, that's because Lotus helped build it.
The original idea was to electrify an Elise. But by the end of the project, only 6% of components actually made it into the Tesla. Lotus's founder, Colin Chapman, was all about saving weight, but EVs struggle to keep weight down. So, will this Tesla, with more power, measure up? The Tesla might be heavier than the Lotus, but with its 288 horsepower electric motor, the Roadster can hit 60 in under 4 seconds. So this should be interesting. On paper, the electric Tesla beats the Lotus, but it has 300 kilograms of extra weight, and it's 67 grand more expensive. Around the track, will its extra power be enough to make up for its extra weight? Well, there's only one way to find out. First up then, the Lotus Elise.
Oh my God! These are just epic. These have got, by any standards, one of the finest handling and well-balanced road cars that's ever been created. I can feel everything about the car. I can feel it braking traction on the rear. I can feel little bits of understeer. I can feel how the nose dips. I can feel all the little bumps and undulations. I can feel the grip decaying. You just feel everything, not just in your hands, but in your bum, in your ribs, everywhere.
Time for a fast lap.
I don't care what the lap time is, I really don't, because it's just such fun to drive. It's just brilliant. It's pure driving. It's razor sharp with on steering. It's really a brilliant bit of kit. Oh, man! Stop the watch.
The Elise crosses the line in 49.81 seconds. Now for the Tesla.
Now, the Lotus was about £36,000 when it was new. But this Tesla, well, that was a much more eye-watering £103,000. Big difference, huh? But the Tesla was the first ever road car to feature lithium-ion batteries. And when you consider that was 2008, boy oh boy was this a groundbreaking bit of kit. Trouble is, that technology comes at a price, and that price is weight. At less than a ton, the Elise is a very light car. The Tesla, well, it's 300 kilograms heavier, but it does have extra horsepower and gets all of that torque from zero. So we've got an extra 70 horsepower and obviously a lot more torque. Yes, you can feel it, but I can also feel it just feels heavy. I think we should go for a hot lap. So let's get it teed up for the last corner to get a really good exit. Right, here we go. Start the watch. I've got traction control off. There's not any hint of oversteer. There's definitely more understeer than in the Elise. Steering weight is heavier. You know, the brakes aren't as good.
At the first checkpoint, the Tesla is already a second behind the Lotus.
It's certainly nowhere near as engaging or fun to drive as the Elise. I'm a bit nervous about the brakes. So in this fast corner here, bit of understeer. This is where it should be good. Low rev pickup. Yeah, good there.
By the second checkpoint, the Tesla is 2.5 seconds adrift. It feels like the Tesla has got the power, but still it's not enough.
Pretty good though. It's in the slow corners where this struggles front end. It's, you know, by any standard, it's pretty good. It's not anywhere near as good as the Elise.
By the end of the lap, the Lotus is 3.6 seconds ahead.
And stop the watch.
Leaving the Tesla with a lap time of 53.48 seconds. So, what have we learned? Lightweight really is the key to performance around the track, and the Lotus Elise retains its reputation as one of the best handling sports cars ever made. Coming up, the going gets tough for our EV vans when we test them with very heavy loads.
Here comes a hill. Oh, crikey.
We also ask if a high mileage EV makes for a smart used car buy.
This is what I want in a compact EV. It's giving me that Star Trek vibe. I'm on board. Going electric is a growing trend, but let's be honest, private buyers are still struggling with new car prices. They're a serious notch upwards. However, if you hunt around a bit, cheaper cars can be found, because some have now been around for a decade or so, and in the process have clocked up some serious mileage. A high miler EV will be cheaper, but is it actually wise to get one, especially as replacing batteries can be 5-figure expensive? We've assembled a trio of second-hand EVs which have really been around the block to see how fresh they feel on the road and check out the actual battery life they have left. We'll start with a Nissan Leaf. This indeed is an exciting day because this is my first ever drive in the pioneering Nissan Leaf, which was introduced in 2011. It was practical, it was no nonsense, and it's £8 today, but it won't exactly get your heart racing. The 24 kilowatt battery gives a top speed of 89 miles an hour and a 0 to 60 in about 12 seconds. But over the years, the Leaf won plenty of admirers, and it was the world's best-selling plug-in EV until the Tesla Model 3 came along in 2020. Well, it drives fine. The interior, yes, it's a little bit tatty, but the drivetrain feels absolutely fine. There's no knocks, clonks, nothing feels loose. The things I'm interested in, though, are how well those batteries are performing, and I'm a little bit concerned. I've just driven 12.8 miles and used 27% of the battery charge. Do the maths and that gives me a total range of under 50 miles. The official range of this car is 84 miles, which suggests the batteries have degraded by over 40% since new. If this is accurate, then this car is in trouble. The only way to find out is to access the Leaf's onboard diagnostic data, and for that, I need the help of an EV specialist, Matt Cleveley.
The state of health of the battery is at 81.98%.
Oh, well, that's interesting. So the batteries were not nearly as done for as I feared, and a range of nearly 70 miles is possible. I had a theory of why my drive had depleted the charge so quickly. It's a hot day. I've got the aircon on, and you know what, my driving was probably terrible as well.
Of course, this display is only a guessometer at best.
Yes, well, that's 18% degradation over 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Is that degradation linear, as in, does it continue to drop off at the same rate of knots, or can it be a sudden thing?
Really is dependent on use.
Okay.
So how the car is used, how it's looked after as well. So with these batteries, heat is the enemy.
First generation Leafs didn't have active battery cooling, and regular overheating can shorten the pack's life. Parking the car in the shade, charging it only between 10 and 80%, and using a slow charger where possible will help to maintain battery health. Failure to do this could set you back £14,000, the cost of a new battery. Our next mega miler is the BMW i3, which was launched in 2013 and has only just gone out of production. High mile examples are going for about 12 grand, a third of the original price. This car, it's definitely quirky, it's definitely got that futuristic feel, and that did divide opinions when it first came out. But I've got to be honest, BMW, I'm liking what you've done. This is what I want in a compact EV. It's giving me that Star Trek vibe. I'm on board. Where are we going, Scotty? This car is a 2014 model with 95,000 miles on the clock, and officially it should be capable of travelling 80 miles between recharges. Back to the garage for a proper checkup.
So we can see on this one, state of health, 83%.
Over the 8 years, it's just under 20% degradation.
Yes.
The final car comes from Tesla, catalyst of the modern-day EV revolution. The Model S made EV sexy and showed the world what battery-powered could do. It came out in 2012, costing up to 90 grand, but this one is just over half that. Not cheap, but cheaper. I mean, there is basically no switchgear. There is just this massive touch screen which controls pretty much everything. If I want to turn my fan up, no, that's not it. I can't do it. That was my volume. Not my volume. Hang on. Oh, no. Whew. It's a minefield. This 2018 Model S is newer than our other two EVs, but at 82,000 miles, it's racked up a similar distance in 4 years. So has all that hard driving affected the battery performance? Well, to be honest, I couldn't tell. The graph I have here, which is the remaining battery life I have, that's reading still 56%. It turned out I wasn't seeing live data on the screen, but back at base, Matt had all the info, not just on my trip, but on the car's entire lifetime.
As you can see, that line of degradation over years is tiny. It's lost 26 miles, 8.33%.
Over sort of nearly 4 years.
Correct.
Although a new battery would have cost 10 grand, it looks like after 4 years, I don't need one. What else have I learned? Well, you can't always judge battery health based on the range readout because so many other factors affect depletion. But the good news is all three of our money-saving high-mile EV cars seem to be in rude health. Each is only losing around 2% of their battery life per year. Our test has only covered a small sample, but it has shown a high mileage EV doesn't necessarily mean you're going to spend half your life at a charging point. And it could also save you big money on servicing and fuel costs.
Welcome back to our EV van challenge. We want to see if the Fiat e-Ducato and the Ford e-Transit are up to a proper day's work. Both had decent range on our ride around town, although the Ford got our vote thanks to a better cabin, superior tech and battery life.
It's got a 68 kilowatt-hour battery. But the Fiat fought back in round 2 with a more usable load bay.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
See how much they do?
Yeah.
1-1 then, and time for our final test. Jason and Jimmy discovered in the last series, EV vans can throw a bit of a wobbly when they're asked to cart some weight around.
Now hang on, that's flat to the floor. That's not accelerating now.
That's poor, eh?
Yeah.
So how will our vans react with a ton of sand in the back? That's around their maximum payload. And for that reason, I've picked Karun out. He might be compact, but every kilo counts.
We have chosen a route that's got a few hills, but nothing too silly. And with 280 Newton meters of torque in my Ducato, I think this should cope pretty well, even with the extra load on board.
280 Newton meters? I laugh in your face, BBH.
The Ford e-Transit is the most powerful electric van in the market today. And with 261 horsepower and 430 Newton meters of torque, it should absolutely smash any performance that the Fiat can put together. But with a ton of weight in the back, it'll be interesting to see just what the consumption numbers are like, because when we drove around earlier, actually it was pretty good, to be honest. It will dip. I'll be interested to see, just with the hills, what a difference that makes.
Karun, I might have 150 Newton meters of torque less than you and be lacking horsepower. But right now, I'm moving along quite nicely.
I can barely notice that I've got a load on board. Honestly, it just feels a tiny, weeny bit heavier at the back than before.
However, I've got a few issues elsewhere.
The noise on these roads has definitely increased in the cabin. I can hear the suspension going over potholes, and I can definitely feel it as well.
And another problem is looming on the horizon.
Here comes a hill. Oh, crikey. I'm in eco mode. Oh, foot on the throttle. That is my foot flat on the throttle. It's not picking up very well. I'm going to switch modes to power mode. Into power mode, and this behaves very much like a normal petrol diesel van.
In eco mode, acceleration is limited, but in power mode, it unleashes all of its grunt and top speed increases from 50 to 62 miles an hour.
My range is going to be zapped pretty quickly, so I'm going to pop it back into eco ASAP.
I've yet to reach any hills, but I'm enjoying the ride of the E-Transit, which has finally ditched its ancient leaf spring suspension.
I have to say, on this bumpy B road I'm driving along, it's actually a pretty comfortable ride. And actually, I'm not even having to go to full throttle. I'm at maybe 40% on the throttle, and it's pretty effortlessly climbing up.
Okay, Karun, I get it. Your van is better on hills, but owning an EV isn't all about power. Both vehicles could save you as much as £13,000 in fuel over 95,000 miles, and an EV van could be 40% cheaper to service.
Let's talk warranties. Ford will give you 3 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first. But more importantly, when it comes to the electrical components, including the battery, you'll get 100,000 miles of warranty.
Which isn't as good as the Fiat, which gets a 5-year or 100,000 mile warranty and 5 years free roadside assistance.
And the battery is warranted for 8 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes sooner. Our drive is now coming to an end. What Effect had a ton of sand done to our range. Empty, the Fiat had a 160-mile range, but loaded up, this dropped to 75. The Ford dropped from a 200-mile range to 122 miles. Important figures to bear in mind if you often carry heavy loads.
So we think then that the Ford definitely won the first test. We found it more agreeable inside.
Yep.
This won the second test for different shapes and sizes to go in the back, and then you've won the third.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the Ford is £5,000 cheaper, it's got better range, and it's faster. So really, no-brainer.
Yeah. So do we think then that these vans have now become fit for purpose?
I think if Jimmy and Jason got back in these, after seeing 2 years of development, they'd be really impressed.
So it's the mighty Ford which gets the prize for the van that's managed its transformation to electric power the best. If you decide to buy one, remember you aren't obliged to wear the same uniforms as us, unless you really want to.